Tyson Fury, split decision winner over Francis Ngannou. It's got the whole world buzzing. CT with my guy DJ. We're here to talk about it and talk about what we saw, what's next. Guys, this is a huge event, monumental. What were your initial impressions from the event and the result? DJ, how are you feeling?
What's up, CT? Good to be here, man. Ooh, big fight feels, man. Talk about big fight feels. Talk about the atmosphere. Talk about the UAE not no holds barred when it comes to expenses, and they left no stone unturned in terms of they had the who's of who's of the combat sports gathering in the UAE, man. Like from everything from the walk-ins, you just had that big fight feel. It felt royal. It looked royal. It did feel like it was for the baddest man on the planet. And man, what a great fight it was. I mean, look, call me biased, whatever it was. Being an MMA fan, now we can confidently say we were well represented, which is the MMA community. It was great to see, man. Like I mean, a lot Francis Ngannou proved a lot of people wrong, including even myself. There were certain things that I was saying. Look, I will be doubtful if it were to go the distance. How will Francis Ngannou be able to, withstand the pressure, withstand the sort of how will his conditioning be and everything? I think he answered all those questions. They went the whole 10 rounds. Majority of the combat world things he won, including the boxing community. I think he held his own. Prior to this, for me, my take was the McGregor Mayweather. That was the best representation of an MMA fighter going into boxing and fighting one of the best in that sport. Now, we touched on this in our preview, where Tyson Fury is an active heavyweight champion. He's the best heavyweight champion of this era, and he took on him taking on Francis Ngannou. We said, look, this is in terms of top skill and opponent, this is probably a little bit higher than the Mayweather fight, and keeping all that with all that in mind, man, like what Francis Ngannou was able to do, and I'm still buzzing from this fight. What Francis Ngannou was able to do was outstanding, impressive. Man, hats off. I stand up to him. I salute him. All that under the sun, man. Like great performance. Man, knocked Fury down in the third round. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Uh, you know, uh, it's sort of like there was a lot of talk going into this fight. A lot, even way earlier than when the fight was announced. What's Francis Ngannou going to do? Like, is this, as he ironically puts it on his bag, fumbled the bag, and all these kind of things. And today he's come out and proved his haters wrong, his naysayers wrong, and more than anything, man, like this guy's fairy tale story continues. Yes, on the record, it is registered as a defeat. Let's not forget it was a split decision defeat against the best heavyweight of our era in boxing. They fought for the baddest man title, and man, there is no way his stock went down. If anything, his stock doubled, tripled, quadrupled. The excitement for his next fight's gone skyrocketed. And let's not forget, man. Let's just go back and look at some of Tyson Fury's previous opponents. He Francis Ngannou performed a lot better than some of Tyson Fury's most recent opponents. Look at Derek Chisora, look at Dillian White. Like Deontay Wilder, who we believe gave Tyson Fury the hardest fight thus far. In the later fights, we saw Tyson Fury was able to start dominating, and this wasn't a 6 round exhibition gimmick fight. This isn't. Let's not use that word in this. This is not a gimmick fight. This was an actual proper boxing fight, and Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fought in a legitimate pro boxing bout, and Francis Ngannou held his own. That's it, man. Look, I got my sonnies out. Big fight feels, like I said, the fight felt like royalty. Shout out to the UAE. They delivered. All guns were blazing. Promotion, man, it was out of this world. One of the best promotions I've ever seen in terms of the ring being revealed while a live performance, right? Man, I want to talk about the walkouts, but you know what? I'm gonna stop for a bit because CT, I'm a bit too excited with this fight, so I'm just gonna take a break and I'm gonna let you speak, man. I'm sorry.
Nah, I love your energy, your passion. This is what we love as fight fans, first and foremost. We've got fans that are boxing aficionados, MMA, and a blend of both, which we are, and we might have people,
Absolutely.
um, you know, give their thoughts in the comments section. We'll definitely reply and give our thoughts. But I want to say, yeah, the big winner for me was Francis Ngannou in terms of what he was able to do. Tyson Fury, lucky to get this split decision win. I think it was closer than people think. I don't think it's a robbery. It was definitely a situation where you could definitely have awarded it to Francis Ngannou, and he's probably unlucky to not get the win. And I feel like Tyson Fury is lucky, but more so, I don't think he was at his best. Like whether only he'll know if he approached this like a real heavyweight fight in terms of it, like if it meant something. But that's all. That's all. Like regardless of what happened. Really,
Yeah.
the winner was the fans because we're going to get more of this action. DJ, talk me through what you think is next, and also how
Man,
you saw the fight unplay with the elbow as well.
look, there was a lot of things there. Like, let's talk about the fight itself, right? Fury starts fast on his feet, quite confident. Was doing what he usually does, nimble on his feet, landing them shots, jabs, working around the jabs, and then but Francis Ngannou wasn't shy. Wasn't gun shy at all. He was landing his own shots, and then the big moment came in the third round when he dropped him. And I think that was like a wake up call for Tyson Fury to say, okay, wow, now
Yep.
I've been dropped,
Yep.
right? And you can see even as the fight progressed, Fury himself was trying to drop Ngannou. There were a couple of hooks that did land. They were heavy, but Francis Ngannou wasn't wobbled, man. And you spoke about the elbow. Like, look, man, after rewatch this fight, as I said, I'm still buzzing with excitement. But it did look like Fury was aware of what he was doing. I could be completely wrong. Um, and yeah, look, but it did daze Ngannou by the look of it, but it didn't sort of compromise him in any way. He still kept coming forward. And I think that's the one thing that impressed me a lot was Francis Ngannou's forward pressure. Going into the seventh, eighth round, I did see him like what we've seen in his MMA bouts, where he does start to gas and he was starting to breathe a lot heavier, his mouth open, but it seemed different. It did seem like he was still ready to pressure on. He was still his shots didn't seem fatigued. He was still landing shots. He was working the body. He was working off the jab. Every time Fury something was trying to beat him with a punch and land one of his own. So this is sort of why that fight was so close. Like I did think Francis Ngannou won the fight, but again, people could call me biased. But it seems like the majority of the world think the same too, right? I think it was such a close fight. I mean, that in itself is a huge win. I know Francis Ngannou is probably not going to be content with that, but it is a huge win to be able to be in the ring against who he was and to come away with a split decision win and to all his own. So that was great, man. In terms of Fury's preparation, I don't know. Like I think we touched on this in a pre-fight analysis. Is did did he take this fight seriously? I think one of the biggest factors in me saying that, without obviously knowing the ins and outs of what's going on in their camp behind the scenes, is the announcement of the Fury versus Usyk fight. While this fight was still, not panned out. To be able to do that, it already tells me that they've started their focus and shifted their focus to Usyk in that unification bout. Right? Look, one can only assume, like, if a rematch were to happen, what happens? Does Tyson Fury come more prepared, knowing now what he experienced in there, right? Look, later on in the round, Tyson Fury still did cop a few shots, and he was standing, he wasn't knocked down or anything. So there's that to consider as well. Like, I think he got more fight aware as he went. But I just genuinely, man, like you got to give credit to Francis Ngannou's preparation. Francis Ngannou's gym, they've had a stellar year. With Sean Strickland winning that
Yep.
belt,
Tyson.
and every yes, and Mike Tyson obviously mentoring Francis Ngannou as well. It did seem he had trained heavily. The preparation was evident in the ring, and Eric Nixick and his team as well. Man, hats off, hats off. I think they left no stone unturned in terms of the preparation. They did their due diligence. They went all in for this preparation, and the results showed in the ring. In terms of what's next for Francis Ngannou, the world is his oyster, man. His next fight in the MMA world,
Yep.
he
No
goes into the
doubt.
PFL, he's going to fight someone. It's going to make millions, and he can fight anyone. And look, in the MMA world, man, he obliterates anyone, right? I mean, I can't think you're able to do this with Tyson Fury. Then I mean, look, imagine that knockdown, right? Imagine that in MMA. If this was in MMA, after that knockdown, what happens, right?
Maybe could we
Ngannou.
see the John Jones fight one day?
Oh, that's the dream, man. That's a dream. You never know. Now that we've seen this, now Francis Ngannou's star power has grown exponentially. Right? He is now one of the biggest, not just combat sports stars. He is one of the biggest stars among all athletes. What he's done today and who was there, right? And in terms of the number of eyeballs on this fight, his star power has risen exponentially. So yeah, man. Look, we might be able to see that this star power could move the powers be. Maybe the
Yeah,
UFC and
agree. And
Francis
I,
Ngannou's gimmick
yeah.
promotions can come to a agreement.
Remember, I asked you, DJ, in the preview. I said, uh, "What's next for Ngannou in terms of his boxing career? Is this a once-off?" Well, this is far from that right now. We had Alexander Usyk in the crowd. We had guys like Israel Adesanya. We had so many eyeballs, like you said, and I really feel like you said, he can go any route he wants now, and he's going to get
Absolutely.
more heavyweight offers. Obviously, he's yet to debut in PFL. I mentioned the John Jones thing. Probably unlikely. The fact that he'll probably be retired will Jones once he recovers. But yeah, Francis Ngannou, I'm all in on the boxing for him right now, and
Yep.
he's making huge money. We'll wait to see
Yep.
what the numbers does.
Yep.
But yeah, I mentioned Usyk in the crowd. Fury, give us your thoughts on his performance and what's next for him too.
Man, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, Fury is still undoubtedly one of the best heavyweights in the world. He could come into the next fight and prove all of us wrong and say, hey, look, that was just a one off. Here I am at my best again. And I think, look, sort of, I do feel like, again, in my mind, I do believe that he didn't expect this fight to go the way he did, and maybe he didn't put in the best of his preparation, expecting it to be sort of in the same vein as some of the boxing versus MMA fights we've seen. But man, the respect of the MMA world has been earned by Francis Ngannou. He is the savior of the MMA versus boxing. All that talk, all the other stuff that we've seen, and all the other fighters we've got and got knocked out, like Tyron Woodley's and all that. That's all now, sort of balancing, because we had one of the MMA guys go and go toe to toe with the best heavyweight in the world. So that has to count for something. Look, I'm not going to lie. I think Tyson Fury's stock's going to take a hit. It will, because people expected him this to be a cakewalk. He was meant to just go in and destroy him and sort of have his way about it and dictate how the fight panned out. There were talks about the fight
Yeah,
ending quite
yeah,
quickly.
agree.
With all that in mind and what we saw happen, I think it does impact. We've already had people questioning about what was that all about. We've got like majority of the world voicing their strong opinion that Francis Ngannou won this fight. And look, a lot of people relate to Francis Ngannou's story as well, like this hardship and from where he came from, and to be able to see that the pinnacle of that would have been their victory today. Although they believe he's a people's champ, he won this fight today. And that's look. It does, but we know, especially in combat sports, you're as good as your last performance, right? Tyson Fury could come out next time and completely obliterate Usyk, and that sort of stardom star power gets restored again. Um, Usyk and Fury had a face off at the end of the fight, so I'm gonna say, given that they announced it, that's going to be next. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for that. We'll see. I would like to think that Francis Ngannou will. There will be a rematch, especially from Fury's side, to say, "Look, I want to silence all doubts." Right? That
Yep,
could be that.
sign me up.
Yeah, man. I'll be. Look, it's just only bigger and better things for Francis Ngannou from now, right? We've been told that he's going to be ranked now among the top 10 heavyweights. He's breaking into the top 10 of the heavyweights of the world. I also think
Oh, that's huge.
I also feel he could still hold his own against. He could be very successful against the likes of some of the heavyweight boxers ranked up there. I'd like to see a Dillian White versus Francis Ngannou. I know Dillian White's sort of dealing with some stuff in terms of the tests, drug tests, and all that. So once that's all cleared, I'd like to see that him and Derek Chisora. That's another fight that I wouldn't mind seeing. Deontay Wilder, man, look, you know what I mean? Like two heavy punches, two guys with dynamite in their hands. Let's see that, because Francis Ngannou's shown us that what he can do. Like when you start,
Yeah.
when you set the bar this high, right? It's only up, like you just open yourself up to so many great offers and great things. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I think something like a fight between him and Wilder, like you said, AJ. I just think he has the incredible knockout power that which we already know. Like you said, this is far from any gimmick because we knew one, he's a fighter already. Yes, he's not a boxer, but he's an actual fighter, not a YouTuber learning to fight. And the
yeah,
second thing is he's got more knockout power than any MMA fighter, and then a knockout power on par as a Wilder. Anyone, you see how jacked he was, and yet
cool,
not many guys have put Fury on the canvas, ladies and gentlemen. That photo we see is going to be iconic, the one on
iconic.
screen. And I'm with you in terms of Fury wanting to get his name back up there. But I like the fact that the next thing is Usyk because it's really gonna that's the next best thing to get his name back to
Yeah,
where it was because I think he's lost some stock. Yep.
yeah, absolutely, man. Like I think that's a unification belt, right? Like that brings that comes with not just the the other belts, but also a ton of respect that you earn. The winner of that will be respected and regarded as the best heavyweight of the world, right? Now, undoubtedly. Now you've unified the belts. All belts sit in one place, and that's what we're wanting. We've been asking for it, and we're going to get it. I don't think a date has been set yet, but yeah, man. Like nothing but like look. To be honest, even the doubters and haters will have to put aside their emotions and say this was a great event. Francis Ngannou, what he did was amazing, right? All respect to him, and I think give Francis Ngannou his flowers. Respect this man. See what he's done. Respect, celebrate this story. Amazing story, man. That walkout. I want to talk about the walkout, man. Like both walkouts were pretty hard. Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury coming in a throne. But I love Francis Ngannou as well, man. Like he's a tire. Same thing. I think they were both like sort of, dressed up as kings and rightfully so for the title of the baddest man. But for me, the favorite part of Francis Ngannou's walk was when Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya joined him and they walked together. We will for a long time there was speculation that the three kings of Africa, where they're gonna have UFC Africa, it's gonna be a big card, the three champions. Unfortunately, it didn't come into fruition. But to be able to see that, well, man, that was hard. And man, I was pumped. I was I was just out of this world. I was buzzing, and the fight delivered. To be honest, in my opinion, the fight delivered. And yeah, look, I just felt again, my opinion. I think Francis Ngannou won that fight.
Yeah,
But
we talked
hey,
about DJ how there's no greater show than heavyweight fights, heavyweight MMA, but heavyweight boxing too. Ever since I've been a baby, and even well before my time, since the existence of boxing, that's what gets people around. It gets people
yeah,
together. The heavyweight division. Mike Tyson had his fingers in this fight too, training
yeah,
Francis Ngannou, jacked up, hyped up in the
yeah,
crowd. Usyk,
yeah.
yeah, this has really got the heavyweight division now. I think, yeah, like even more with more eyes and more spotlight, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Absolutely, man. 100%. I mean, we got our focus entirely on what's going to come next, and hopefully we get some announcements soon. But yeah, man, amazing event. Hats off to the promoters. Hats off to the organizers. Hats off to the UAE, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and sort of in terms of not sparing any not skimming on anything and just delivering the best product, the
Yeah,
absolute best
and I
product.
will I will say, I want to give credit to Fury too for taking the fight
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Obviously, I'm a huge Fury fan in terms of the heavyweight division and what he's been able to do. The Gypsy King, yeah, he had an off night, but I don't think it
yeah,
was a robbery. I agree with you 100%. Definitely felt like he
yeah,
didn't take it as seriously as he could have. But that's not to
yeah,
take any credit away from Ngannou, like you said,
yeah,
and all the respect to both of these men
yeah.
and the promoters of the event. Uh, let's see the next one. I'm hungry. I'm ready.
Absolutely,
Any
man.
final words?
Oh man, I was just looking at the punches thrown stats, and look, Fury obviously is slightly leading, for total punches to the total punches. 31.8% for Fury to 25% for Ngannou. Total jabs sitting at 28% to 19% for Fury again. The power punches is where sort of it gets a lot more murkier with 37 to 31%. So and let's not forget that one knockdown. So yeah, look, man, great performance by Ngannou. A lot of respect to Tyson Fury as well for coming out and putting on a show. And all this kind of thing for these guys for promoting their fight. I know they were also copying a lot of hate in terms of, well, why is Fury doing this? Why is not the Usyk fight? But I feel like now that the event's done, that I think the event was justified. I'm glad it happened.
Yep, 100%. Yep, justified, absolutely, and yeah, but a deserving payday as well. But yeah, can't wait to see what's next. The world's their oyster for both. The Usyk a unified heavyweight fight next. Can't wait. We'll be previewing that, breaking that down when it comes. But obviously, all eyes will be on Ngannou and whatever announcement. He was really humble in defeat. He really feels like
Yeah,
he won the fight, and so does a
yeah,
lot of people as well. But that's the sport, at the end of the day, he almost got the knockout, got the knockdown, and sometimes, yeah,
yeah,
you need the knockout to leave, no doubt. But I feel like, yeah,
absolutely.
both people were winners long term, and if there's a rematch, bring it on.
Bring
CT
it
and
on.
DJ, we'll see you on the next one.